2 blocks of 49ers training camp practice down. Makes it a perfect time to check in on the rookies. We got some good news yesterday with Romello Height's return. Height has lived up to the hype for the 49ers. Explosive speed rusher. Blew by another rookie, Enrique Cruz Jr. at one of the early practices, but he's holding his own against some of the veterans as well and dropping back into coverage, doing some versatile stuff for the 49ers, and they're really going to need that this year under their new defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris. Alamo Square is the location. We're going to go through all of the 49ers rookies, good news and the bad. The bad news has come lately with Kaelon Black, the running back out of Indiana, suffering a adductor injury that is a core muscle injury. Unclear how long he's going to be out, but he was popping off the field for the first few practices. Really had some juice. So if you're the 49ers, you hope that Kaelon is back sooner rather than later so he can continue picking up the offense. Mature player. Has drawn rave reviews from some of the 49ers veterans, including Christian McCaffrey, and just a solid block of muscle. I mean, he is absolutely built. And I think that he'll see plenty of playing time if he can stay on that field for San Francisco. Of course, the headliner is De'Zhaun Stribling. Always will be the most polarizing player, maybe of the entire draft class, not just limited to the 49ers. He has been awesome for San Francisco so far. He's missed the past 2 practices with hamstring tightness, but they're already to the point where I think that they're bubble wrapping De'Zhaun Stribling. They're making sure that he's available for them during this regular season. You don't want to push anything too hard with that hamstring being tight. I have not seen a more impressive rookie receiver through 2 blocks of 49ers practice in a decade covering this team. And Brandon Ayuk was really good as a rookie in 2020. De'Zhaun Stribling has caught more passes than Ayuk did during training camp in 2020. He's been more versatile. You know, Mike, I give Mike a hard time that he deleted this tweet, but back in spring when we saw rookie minicamp and we saw De'Zhaun Stribling for the first time, Mike said, this guy just, the way that he moves reminds me of Terrell Owens. It's not saying that he's going to be Terrell Owens, second greatest receiver of all time, but it's saying that he moves like Terrell Owens. And he does. I think a lot of what De'Zhaun Stribling brings to the table really mimics what Terrell Owens brought to the table at 6'2", 6'3", maybe a tad shorter than Terrell Owens, but long arms. The one thing that Terrell didn't do was consistently catch the football as a young player. You remember the 4 drops that he had in the catch-2 wild card game against the Green Bay Packers? That was really the turning point for Terrell Owens. He started catching a whole lot more after that, but as a young player transitioning from college basketball to football, he didn't have great hands. De'Zhaun Stribling is the opposite. Dropped only 1 pass for Ole Miss last year, and he has caught everything going his way. It is comical that we had that viral clip of somebody saying that he bobbled a pass at rookie minicamp and that it was a bad sign. Just shows you that you got to be very careful what you consume online, because De'Zhaun Stribling, he is as solid as they come. It seems like a very high floor pick for the 49ers, and the ceiling also seems high. High floor, high ceiling, that's exactly what you want out of your first pick of the draft, and they're going to be relying on him. Now, I don't think that De'Zhaun Stribling, I don't think they want him to move to the Z, even though Ricky Pearsall's hurt. I think they want him at that big slot position. Maybe the X if Evans is ever not available, maybe the X in the future, but Stribling with 4.36 speed, he's such an easy strider. He with 4.36 speed, not 4.63, 4.36 speed at the slot, working against occasionally safeties, probably more often nickelbacks, but the size is what's going to beat those nickels. He's going to be a tough matchup. It is like Jawan Jennings, but with actually elite speed when it comes to De'Zhaun Stribling. Grayson Halton, we haven't seen him yet, and this is a player I'm anxious to see. Mike brought up a good point. We're talking about this. Halton might be the player the 49ers redshirt if he can't get back to training camp in time. Now, he has a bone bruise and could be back as soon as this 3rd block. I think that would be very important for Grayson Halton. There is a lot to pick up when you transition from college to the NFL. We knew that Halton has insane athleticism for a defensive tackle. I mean, it's somebody who played a little bit of wide receiver in high school down in San Diego, just to give you an idea. But he's going to be a really, really explosive pass rusher. I think probably the run defense is what is going to take a little bit more work for Grayson Halton. Obviously has to learn his place within the context of the defense. But if anybody wants to talk about Vita Vea and another 49ers defensive tackle edition, well, if Grayson Halton misses any more time here in training camp and the 49ers don't feel that he's going to be fully up to speed this season, and they feel that they really want to turbocharge that defensive tackle room, that's really the slot that somebody like Vita Vea would fit perfectly in. Now, if you could trade for Vita at a reasonable price, even if Grayson Halton is back at practice and ready to go, you do it. But I'm just saying that there's a logical little gap there at defensive tackle right now where Grayson Halton has not practiced yet, where the 49ers would be more than happy to hit the upgrade button. But I'm still excited to see Halton. He just has not been out on that practice field yet. Flipping back to wide receiver, well, Will Pauling is right in the midst of that punt returner competition. I would not be shocked if Pauling becomes last season's Junior Bergen. He is a slot guy out of Notre Dame, shorter receiver, 5'9", but has experience returning these punts. Bergen wasn't quite ready for the prime time yet. Maybe Pauling will be more ready this year, but Bergen has made big strides. I think he's in a direct competition with Jacob Cowing for the top spot. Maybe Pauling sneaks in there, but much more likely probably a practice squad spot for Will Pauling, 49ers rookie receiver out of Notre Dame. Now, Wesley Grimes is the opposite profile. He's not 5'9", he's like 6'2" or 6'3". And he's actually showcased some more explosiveness than I expected. Dark horse out of North Carolina State. Definitely a candidate for the practice squad. And then, you know, with the injury rate that the 49ers have suffered at wide receiver over the course of the past 2 seasons, you never know. You can't rule anybody out for that 53-man roster once week 1 rolls along. All right, couple other undrafted free agents who have flown under the radar. And you know, talking to some people on the field, they have agreed with this. And, you know, the pads just came on this past block. The 2 defensive tackles, Bryson Eason and James Thompson Jr., Eason out of Tennessee, James Thompson Jr. out of Illinois. It seems they've got some push in those one-on-ones. Thompson especially seems very, very strong. He's a longer pass rushing type, and he's been able to convert some of that length into power, which you always love to see out of a young guy, because you only assume that they're going to get that grown man strength and add on to that power as they mature. Both of these defensive tackles, you know, I talk about somebody like Grayson Halton. If Halton is unable to make a mark in his rookie season, it could open a little bit bigger window for some of these undrafted free agents. Sebastian Valdez, I know this is a rookie show, but the Hulk, second-year player, he's been mixing in with the ones for the 49ers. And Valdez last year, he won Scout Team Player of the Week multiple times for San Francisco, and they actually flexed him up to the game day roster from the practice squad a couple times, even though they ended up making him inactive, so he would get paid significantly more. I mean, you get a big boost in pay as a reward for his work during the practice week, which shows me that they really like Sebastian Valdez and the work that he put in last year. If there's anything to that, if there's anything to, okay, what this guy has earned as far as credibility in his rookie season, does that give him a leg up over the other rookies? Does it give him a leg up even under a new defensive coordinator with the same D-line coach, Chris Kasarik? If there's anything to that, Sebastian Valdez has his stock in a good spot. So, you know, somebody who cranked out a lot of bench press repetition, somebody who's very strong, and the 49ers can use some muscle on that interior defensive line. I led yesterday's show with Jaden Duggar, who practiced 5 sessions with the linebackers and won this most recent one with the edge rushers. That was a mild surprise for me. We've been talking so much about Jaden Duggar's ability to potentially play the edge because the guy is so long. I mean, a 7-foot wingspan that's longer than Aldon Smith's. I think, based on my research, it would be the longest wingspan of any linebacker, stack linebacker ever. So it might be, I don't know if the 49ers still plan to have him at that linebacker position, but it might have been a little bit too ambitious for a stack linebacker development. I know that the 49ers are trying to catch lightning in a bottle and capture the next Fred Warner, but maybe the next Julian Peterson, player that can still drop into coverage as an outside linebacker, but can also use those really long arms to assert himself as an edge rusher. Maybe that's more realistic for Jaden Duggar. Injuries might have forced the 49ers to move Duggar to edge rusher. We'll see if he stays there. But with that length, you know, the athletic profile Mike posted yesterday, profile similar to Micah Parsons, except much longer arms. Parsons only had 31 and change inch arms. With Jaden Duggar, it's 35-inch arms and that 7-foot wingspan. You look at what he brings to the table just from the size standpoint. He'll be able to keep blockers at bay. He'll be able to run that hoop with his athleticism. It's a special prospect when he has safety experience, edge rusher experience, and stack linebacker experience, where they started him for those 5 practices. But I think that the outside linebacker appeal may win out, especially given what Raheem Morris has been running. I mean, he's been flexing those outside linebackers into coverage. It seems like a fit that's almost too good to be true for somebody like Jaden Duggar. And you know, maybe we see Duggar move to that edge rusher outside linebacker position, and Larry Worth, the Arkansas product, another tall player, somebody who also used to play safety but has now moved to linebacker. Maybe we see Larry Worth stick at linebacker. Definitely a developmental prospect, but somebody who brings plus speed for linebacker. He was a little too slow, I think, to play safety at this level, but somebody who I could definitely see landing on the 49ers practice squad just because that upside is there. Raheem Morris seems to really value length. Then there's another Notre Dame product, Jalen Stroman. Probably another box safety type for the 49ers. Preseason is really going to allow us to see some of the tackling ability of these safeties. It's so important that they can take good angles, track the ball well. They're not tackling to the ground yet during these training camp practices. So in the past, we've seen some of these rookie safeties, cornerbacks, DBs really make a name for themselves during the preseason. Upton Stout last year announced his arrival during the preseason, and you know, Upton's obviously a nickelback, but I think there's going to be a lot of versatility that Raheem Morris employs in that back end. He wants football players. He wants guys with good instincts. He doesn't really put as much emphasis as the 49ers did last year on 4.3 speed at safety, and that's good news for Jalen Stroman, who doesn't run a 4.3, but will definitely have an opportunity to prove himself on the back end as this month of August progresses. Now, normally in August, we sit here and it's foggy and not quite as nice as it is right now in San Francisco, but here you can see Alamo Square where it is windy. The wind is coming over the other side. One of our viewers the other day said that their family house used to be right here where Ida B. Wells High School now is, if I read the comment correctly. But if you pan over this way, looking down Hayes Street toward the setting sun here in the late afternoon, that's where the Pacific Ocean, the world's largest air conditioner, is, and it blows in that cool air. This hill, Alamo Square, people say those are the Full House houses. They actually aren't. They had a picnic during the opening montage, but this hill kind of shields you from the wind, and people can have a good time picnicking on that side. All right, moving to the punter, Jack Bowmeister. He's the right-footed punter. He's Australian. His visa paperwork cleared in time for training camp. Brant Boyer, happy to have 2 punters, the lefty Corliss Waitman and Jack Bowmeister competing.
But you want to put them in the pressure situations and see how they handle it. You know, we're rotating days and we're kicking, a little, trying to get more reps so we get more on tape and, trying to do the best job we can at evaluating and then we'll choose one from there. And they're both doing a nice job. Both have strong legs. It's just the consistency that you look for so that's going to be the key is how do they perform in the preseason games and things like that. And, just like any other position, it's all how they perform in the preseason.
And, I don't think the NFL would mind an Australian on one of the rosters heading into week 1 in Melbourne in Australia. So maybe Bowmeister makes the team even as a practice squad guy and travels over to Australia so the 49ers have some representation for that first ever regular season game in Australia. We'll see. Maybe he beats out Corliss Waitman. A lot of this is going to come down to what happens during the games of the preseason, but what I will say is that it's very good that the 49ers have a righty and a lefty punting, because they've got a very important punting competition, and that's where a lot of the rookies actually come in. And that is going to be critical for the complexion of this 49ers 53-man roster, not just for the rookies, but for younger guys like Jacob Cowing, who makes the team. Well, that punt returner spot still up for grabs, and Bowester with the ball coming off his right foot, and Waitman with the ball coming off his left foot. The spin is different for both of those guys. That's really going to help the 49ers evaluate what they need at punt returner. I thought in general, you talk about rookies, special teams is going to be so important. Jaden Duggar is somebody who got rave special teams reviews from Raheem Morris, the defensive coordinator. He asked about Jaden Duggar, and he said, he's actually been excelling in his role on special teams for Brant Boyer's unit. That's how you're going to be able to punch your ticket to the 53-man roster, even if you're otherwise considered a developmental prospect. So all in all, that 49ers rookie class, we talk so much about all the star players on this football team, and they have a lot of them, and obviously health for those guys is going to be of utmost importance. But at the end of the day, the 49ers' chances to win a title, A, they're going to come down to that veteran health, but B, I think it's going to be imperative that they get some nice, energetic fill-in play from the rookies to take care of the special teams unit, keep that on the rise. Brant Boyer seems very excited about that, and to make sure that the defense, which is the younger portion of this football team, and one of the younger defenses in the league, to make sure that that defense has the requisite team speed, hustle, heart. Rookies and younger players are typically a little bit hungrier when it comes to run defense. If these guys perform at the margins for the 49ers, if they supplement the veterans well, that's how this defense can raise up into the top 15, maybe even the top 10 this year. We know that the veterans have it locked down on the offensive side of the ball. Health on that side, and it's a top 5 unit. But it's about the youngsters filling in on defense, working with Raheem Morris's scheme to make that a top half unit, and the combination of those two would make the 49ers bona fide Super Bowl contenders. All right, from Alamo Square, that's your rookie check-in on the off day. We'll see you guys soon.